What's up, Eagles Nation? How you doing, NFL world? To all the division rivals spying in, we all know who runs the NFC East, and maybe to those Minnesota Viking fans who might be trying to see what the Eagle content creators are putting out there. How you doing? My name is Stephen Hyder. This is Gate City Sports Channel, and this is the channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes to get about 10 minutes of daily content a day. To begin with, guys, let me just apologize for not putting a video out yesterday. Had a little issue going on to where I think my eyes were messing with me because I watched a lot of film for this game, because this is one of those games that it can be quite difficult to judge because we know what the Minnesota Vikings are historically, but they made a lot of hoopla this offseason about, we need to add a little wrinkle here or there to our defensive scheme because, when you have success and you've been doing something for a while, teams start to figure it out. So I was trying to really look as much film as I could to see if I was noticing anything and just kind of really get a feel for what was going on. We do know this is a Mike Zimmer-led team. I know that he's the head coach, but this is a defense-minded guy, and his blueprint's all over the team. All right, y'all, let's get to the video. We're going to break down this game. I think this is a big, important game for the Eagles, and I think this is going to be a hard-fought game between what has become a pretty good rivalry.
Four men on the rush. Keenum throws. He's picked.
Okay, guys. So to begin with, as we're looking at the Minnesota Vikings, what I noticed was a defense that is somewhat similar to the Eagles. I would argue I think the Eagles are more inclined to run big nickel and even use a little bit of a robber scheme a little more often than what you would see from the Minnesota Vikings. But just like the Eagles, look, this is a 43 base scheme that operates mostly out of the nickel. It loves to play single high safety, so it's pretty much always in either a man concept of a cover one or a cover three zone concept. And I'll be honest with you, it's a very physical and athletic defense. It has very good linebacker play and has very, very good defensive line play. I would argue, and I think that even Minnesota fans would agree at this point, I think that the fans of Minnesota probably feel like maybe they're not getting the investment that they've been spending in the secondary, because they've been investing a lot in the secondary, and I don't think it's paid dividends for them for the last couple of years. Well, last year, then so far this year. Here's what I will say about them. To me, I'm going to say the key to Minnesota to beating them lies in a couple of areas. And the first area is you really you've got to get those matchups, and you've got to win them in the secondary. So when you get into a cover three scheme, when they come up cover three and they're putting 8 in the box, because it makes Minnesota a good run defense, just like Philly. We would like to play that 8 men in the box type of scheme. You got to take advantage of. We're the Eagles. If they start queuing in on Jordan Howard, we've got to hit them with some play action. We've got to take advantage of them, because I thought early in the game last week against the Giants had an opportunity for a huge play that Daniel Jones missed. I don't think Carson Wentz is missing this throw. Now I'm going to take you to that clip.
That knee injury. Jones gets hit as he throws, puts it up deep and just.
Make no mistake about it. Daniel Jones was under pressure. Okay? With that said, the coverage got blown. They were clearly in a cover three concept. Okay? Thirds of the field. And you can see that corner got beat. And I don't even know how the hell he got beat, because if you really look at it, there was no play action. There was no reason to hold him. He's got the deep third of the field. There's no way a receiver should get by you like that. He got by him. Now, this Minnesota pass rush is something serious. And you can see pressure got home on that. But with that said, our offensive line has got to hold up to probably one of the better pass rushes we're going to play all season. And when we get opportunities like this against the secondary that, in my opinion, from what I've seen on the film, it's not playing outstanding. It's not playing outstanding coverage right now. It's not. We got to hit them. We got to hit them hard on those plays, because, we got big receivers. I'm not going to sit here and say anyone is Deshaun Jackson's talent, because we know the story. Deshaun Jackson is one of the greatest ever, not just in the league right now, but ever, period, at tracking the football. It's hard to replace that. With that said, a Mac Hollins, a J.J. Arthega, Zach Ertz, a Dallas Goedert, a Nelson Aguilar. You got to admit, we've got to punish them when this happens. Punish them.
Pressure on Jones as he's hit.
All right, guys, I really want to make this point. want to make this point clear. We have got to keep this Minnesota pass rush off of Carson Wentz. This Minnesota pass rush is for real, okay? They're going to bring two defensive ends at us they can blitz, and they're very good at it. And Danielle Hunter and Everson Griffin. These are good pass rushers. On top of that, they got some pretty damn good blitzing linebackers. Now, they don't like to use Anthony Barr all the time in that kind of a role because he's such a good coverage and run stopper. He can blitz too, but I can tell you right now, Kendricks can blitz. And even if you look at that play, you'll see that they run a little that's a what they would call a TE stunt. So it's an ET stunt, an end tackle stunt. You look to the top side and you'll see that end tackle stunt on that play. I run it for you guys again so you can see it. Got to communicate on the offensive line. Got to pick this kind of crap up. Cannot let pressure get home like this.
Pressure on Jones as he's hit.
They're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder to play us. I've been preaching this all season because of the narrative of the NFL. Every team we face this year is going to give us 110%. Okay? We can't come out on anyone's home turf thinking that we're the superior team, we're going to win, because they're coming with a little extra mustard on everything they do. You can see on that stunt, man, that pass rush is serious. And we've got to do a good job. This is what I mean by communicating. When you have stunting and blitzing like that, that offensive line has got to communicate. The guard and the tackle got to communicate who's got what responsibility. When you see the stunt coming, if you got another blitzer coming, then you got to know how to pass that over. You got to take it, shift them over, and pick up the next guy coming in. Okay? If we don't do that, it's going to be a long, long day for Carson Wentz because he's going to have to duck and do Carson Wentz all day. He's going to have to avoid the pass rush and then extend plays, and that's not what we want Carson doing. Now, the other side to this has to do with the running game. And I'm going to show you guys this running thing, and I'm going to be honest with you. This all depends on beating Linval Joseph. This is a big, nasty nose tackle from Minnesota, and you got to beat him. If we're going to run the ball, we got to beat him.
Blitz coming, and a safety.
All right. If you look at that clip, you'll see big number 98, Linval Joseph, is lined up directly over the center, and they try to double him out of the way. It's 330 pounds of straight muscle. Ain't easy. Look, I'm a 165-pound guy trying to tell 300-pounders to move this guy off the line. I get the irony in that statement. But that said, we've got to move him. If we don't move him, we're going to have a hell of a time running the ball because they're going to come out playing nickel. They're going to come out with 8 in the box, single high safety, and they're going to try to make us move Linval Joseph off the line if we want to run the ball. And I do believe offensively one of the keys that for our success is going to have to be to run the football. We're going to have to be able to establish a little bit of the running game. Now, I don't expect us to have a 100-yard rusher or anything like that, but we have to at least have the threat of the run there. If there's no threat of the run, they're going to pin their ears back and come for us. So we've got to move Linval Joseph, and we've got to be able to run that ball a little bit. And that's tall order. That's a very, very tall order. All right, I'm going to switch over, and we'll talk about what I want to see the offense do for, I want to see the defense play their offense, basically.
There's Delvin Cook, big hole. He's inside the 10.
All right, guys. I showed this play to start off with because it's a very unique, personnel grouping out of them. It's 13-man personnel, 3 tight ends, okay? Partially, I think it's unique, and partially, I think it's due to the fact that they have not been very successful in every game at keeping pressure off of, keeping pressure off of their quarterback. To be honest, their offensive line play hasn't been the greatest. And I think that we're going to have to be prepared for these type of fronts. And my first key for basically our defensive success against their offense is we need to shut down their running game. So we need to shut down Dalvin Cook and then that rookie Madison. We need to be able to bring some physicality to this, and we need to be able to shut it down because I feel like they're going to try to get creative with us in that sense. And if you go back and you watch that clip again, you can see like they're definitely trying to be creative here. With that said, the next key is we have to be very careful about biting on play action because a lot of their big chunk plays from Kirk Cousins came off of play action.
Those first 3 games, big numbers rushing. Cousins, all kinds of time. Throws, great catch by.
Got to be careful, guys. I'm telling you. If I was Minnesota, wouldn't you admit? Wouldn't you do the same exact thing? Try to establish the run with Dalvin Cook and Madison, and then if I feel like you're selling out to try to stop it, if your linebackers and your safety start cheating up to try to stop it, I'm going to hit you with play action. I'm going to hit you with screens. I'm going to do everything I can to slow down your pass rush. And that's what we have to be careful of. We need to get the pass rush home. We need to stop the run, but we need to do so in a way that doesn't completely sell out our corners in man coverage on their own, especially if we're out there running, that cover 3 concept where we got 2 corners on an island for a third of the field. We need to be careful with that. All right, guys, that's my preview here. And I do think that some other people have brought this up that Andrew Sendejo could be the wild card because Sendejo playing safety is going to have a pretty good idea about this Zimmer, offense and basically what they want to do. That could be interesting to see if how much insight he knows about the Vikings and if he can cue us in defensively what they want to do. With that said, that's my preview, guys. I really think that we have to be very, very cognizant of this pass rush. Okay, we need to really cue in if we're trying to run the ball. We've got to get Linval Joseph off the line, and then we have to pay really, really, really close attention to Anthony Barr because he's their Malcolm Jenkins. He's their play caller. He's the heart of that defense, and the athleticism of Kendricks at that linebacker position. I do think we're going to have opportunities with this secondary because I do think this secondary has not played that well. I know that's a pot calling the kettle black as an Eagles fan. I get it, guys, but nonetheless, it's the truth. All right, y'all. Defensively, get the rush home. Make sure we're stopping this Minnesota, rushing attack because it's going to be an interesting matchup. A very good running offense against a very good run defense, and then let's just not let Kirk Cousins kill us. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't expect Kirk Cousins is going to come in and stink it up. Like I think Kirk Cousins is talented enough to make some plays against this secondary we're throwing out there. With that said, I think we're still a good enough football team to take home the W. I just think this is going to be a very tightly contested game, and it's going to be hard fought. But I do think the Eagles are going to get the win here, guys. All right, y'all. Once again, my name is Steve Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all can do me a favor, man. Like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all tell me what you think. What are your keys to the game? What do you think needs to be taken away? What do you guys see in these matchups? All right, y'all. You know what we do before we jump off of here? We have a little chant, Minnesota fans, if you're watching. And it goes a little something like E-A-G-L-E-S. Let's go get that victory, Eagles.